Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be starting off my series of Fierce Aging with a makeup tutorial with my special guest, Beth Djalali. She is from Style at a Certain Age. That is her blog. All of her links will be linked below. And we're going to do an everyday makeup look for a woman in her 60s. It's coming up next. All right, so we're going to start with a clean face, and I love using, this is a face finishing primer. So it's from Dr. Perricone. It's going to be, yeah, so we want to just hydrate. You can use your fingers, but just for this purpose, I'm going to just use my brush, and then you can use a sponge if you want to, but we just want to hydrate the skin. I like to do the eyes first before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want to do your foundation, make it beautiful, and then have fallout coming down. So that's just my technique. That's how I teach in my class.
I always do it the opposite. That's the last thing that I put on.
Yeah, everybody.
But I do have fallout, so I always have to like blot.
Yeah, so I just like to get this nice moisture into the skin, let it set, and then we'll go into doing your eyes.
The eyes, okay. So completely opposite of what I do.
Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna learn something.
I know, right? So super hydrated. I just want to, give that moisture. When your skin, it's a little bit more mature, you don't want to have dry skin and then putting on, your foundation. And we're going to go into a tinted moisturizer too. Give you two options, ladies, with our foundation today: tinted moisturizer and then doing a regular foundation. So I'm going to go in with my,
that feels good,
doesn't it? It's nice. It just sets it in the morning and you feel hydrated. This is going to be the eye and lip primer that I love using. This is
so they're both together.
Yes. So you can use it on your lips, or you can use it on your eyes, or you can use both. Oh, so close. So this is going to really have your eyeshadow stay true. So any blues, any reds, any purples in the lid, it's going to cover. It's a nice creamy formulation, and it's going to dry down to a nice powder. So it's not going to slip and slide like a lot of those eye primers do. I like to get right into the corner here. So you're going to see how it really blanches out Beth's eye and makes it nice and neutral. So her eyeshadows are going to read true. They're not going to be muddied up with any of the reds, the blues, the discoloration that you have in your eyelid. So you can see the difference between the two when you close your eyes. So you have it primed, and then this is not. So you can see how it's darker, it's not even, it doesn't have an even tone. So her eyeshadow would not go over very well on this eye. So we're going to do the next eye here.
It's funny because I just recently, after all these years, I just started using a primer on my eye, and it makes a big difference. And it seems like the makeup lasts longer.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of like you're just setting a nice little foundation. The eyeshadow has something to grab to. So we're going to go into the Fresh Beauty Studio palette that is going to be, this is a jewel tone. It is called Fresh Beauty. It just released it. And I thought this would be beautiful for Beth for spring and summer. Something that's just like everyday, really pretty, but it's going to lighten up your eyes.
We're all ready for light.
Yes.
Lighter meals, lighter makeup, lighter clothes.
So this, I'm going to just take this middle color here, which is a nice sheen to it. I'm not afraid of sheen on more mature skin. I want to have a little pop to the eye.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of us, we get past 50 and we think that we can't do that anymore.
Right.
So I'm glad you pointed
that out.
I
don't want to just dull out the eye and have it just all matte.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but I want a little bit of sheen for this look. So we're going to take the middle, the pink color, and these are really nice jewel tones with Beth's skin. She has pink undertones, and she's very light, so we want to keep it very fresh. So ladies, I'm taking the eyeshadow and I'm going on the actual lid. I'm not going all the way up into the crease right now. I want to bring it into the inner corner, and I am basically placing it on. I want to really get the eyeshadow on her lid. So that's why I'm using more of a flat brush. Everything will be listed below and on the blog, so you know exactly what I've used.
So this is a flat brush, because that's really what I need help with, is just knowing which brush to use when.
Right. I mean,
and you're like daubing. You're like dot, dot,
right.
dot, dot, dot.
So basically, when you pick up the product, you want to press it into the shadow. A lot of people I see just dipping it.
That's what I do.
Right? Just tip, tip, tip. You're not going to get any kind of payout. So you want to do it flat.
Okay.
Flat.
Okay.
And then you press it into, the eye. So you're really getting, these are highly pigmented, so you don't have to work that much. You don't want to get too much on the brush. But that is, that is a nice technique to know how to do, because you're really placing it onto the lid. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take an angled brush.
So this is angled. Okay.
Angled brush into the darker color. So it's just I'm just gonna press it in, and I want to just concentrate on just the outer corner here. And what you want to really remember is no harsh lines. You want to blend, blend, blend. So I'm just adding a little bit in on the corner here, and then I'm gonna just take a blending brush and move it over on the eye, but I'm not taking more product, if that makes sense. So I basically just take the darker color, I go in on the corner, I place enough there because I'm going to be moving it in a minute.
Okay. There again, you're dab, dab, dab.
Right. So you're really being intentional where you're putting the actual shadow. And you know, for this is obviously you would do this faster, ladies, at home once you got the technique down, but for a lesson I'm showing you in a little bit of a slower pace so you understand what I'm doing. So I have them just here on the out corner on Beth's eyes. I'm going to just take a blending brush now.
The blending brush. So that's the round fluffy one.
Yep, just
right?
a round fluffy brush.
Okay.
And I want to just bring this into the eye socket like a windshield wiper motion. So it's going to take the color that I deposited here and just bring it over. So it's soft. It's not like you're adding a ton of color on the eye. But you're going to get that darkness coming up on the little bit of that socket right there on the eye. So I'm just going to take the lighter color here, and I'm actually using the same brush I did for the middle color, and I'm just going to give Beth just seamlessly pull it together. It's just a little highlight on her brow bone, nothing major. I'm just going to pull it all together. You can also take this color and just go a little bit in to brighten the eye area.
Okay. So you're going inward.
Just a little
On the
bright, you know,
inside.
you just a little, it's like color theory. When you want something to be highlighted, you're going to put a little bit of lightness in that corner.
Okay.
Really looks pretty. And then we'll finish it up. So if there is any fallout, this is why I don't have the foundation on.
Because then you can come along with. So do you use a wipe then? A
Yep,
little
this
wipe,
is
or-
just the Almay, the makeup free zone,
Okay.
oil free, little pads. I showed them a lot in my videos because they're so easy. So I'm just gonna, I like to do this right underneath the eye, look up. So I can really get a nice crisp line. You'll see a little bit of that shadow that comes off.
Well, now I have to go turn everything back around.
I know,
My
it
routine.
really is changing the way you're bringing things and
Yeah.
how you do makeup.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be taking the chocolate brown. This is a waterproof eyeliner. I like chocolate brown because it's going to be nice and soft with this look. So
Okay.
we don't want to do anything that's going to be too dark.
So black would be too harsh.
Yeah, I definitely think so for a day. It's nice and creamy. It's not going to pull on the eye. So I'm just going to have you just look down, don't close. I'm going to stay very close to the lash line. I want to enhance some darkness around Beth's eyes because she has blue eyes. So it's going to really make them pop, and it's going to pull in this look.
Well, one thing that I've noticed as I've aged is that my eyes, you know, tend to be smaller than they used to be. You know, I guess it's all that gravity, you know, pulling down. So what do we do to make it pop a little bit? Is
All
this
right.
what you're...
So this is like a nice trick that I actually learned when I was freelancing with Bobbi Brown. So you're literally, when you go, you can do this yourself. It's like going in between your lashes, getting as close as possible into your lash line. Can you feel that?
I can.
So if it feels weird, you're doing it right. So I'm just making the lash line look thicker. I'm not making a huge eyeliner that's going to be heavy and pull down your eyes.
Right.
Okay, so and when you go on the bottom, you don't have to do the bottom, but if you want to do just a little outline, which I think is nice, you're just going to drag it in a tiny bit. You don't want to line the whole eye because that will bring it in. That's going to close down your eye.
Make it small, which we don't want to do.
No. You can take just a little disposable sponge, smudge it a little bit so it's soft. There's a little bit of color there, but it's not too much. So you can see how it's outlined, it's not too harsh, and you can also, if it's too, you can smudge it if you want to. You can just take a smudging brush, close, and just smudge this. Now, this is just, you can do this with a Q-tip, ladies. This is not a huge step. It's just if you want to have a little bit of softer, you can just take a Q-tip, smudge it, or take a smudging brush and do the same thing.
I usually smudge my eyeliner.
Yeah.
Just because for me, it seems like it's softer.
Now, if you do feel like your eyes on the inner waterline are red, or you wanted to brighten and open up your eye, you can use a flesh tone eye pencil, and it'll make your eyes look bigger, depending on what you think that morning. So, just look down. All right, so now we're gonna just take a little bit of mascara.
Do you ever use a curling iron? I use a curling iron.
You know what?
That's just like habit.
I use yes, you can use a curling iron. Sometimes it's a little damaging on lashes that are getting more fragile. So you can use a heated eyelash curler instead.
Okay.
So you can just like basically use a heated eyelash curler if you want to, or you can do, I just recommend not creating more pressure on lashes. All right, so just gonna take, this is Better Than Sex from Too Faced. We're gonna just, it has a nice big fluffy brush. It's very creamy formulation. I do like this mascara. This is actually Beth's mascara, look down. So I'm taking from the base up. You want to like kind of like go downtown to uptown is kind of like what I say.
Downtown.
Now you can do bottom lashes. I personally don't during the day and what have you. At nighttime you can. I just feel like sometimes we get a little bit of smudging and it just makes it cleaner not to. I'm going to be using Ever's Treatment Concealer. This is the corrector. It has a peachy undertone, or it is actually a peach. So this is going to help with any of the darkness underneath the eyes. So you're going to correct first, kind of color correct, and then we'll put on a concealer. So you can see just a little bit of darkness. That's what we want to do. We want to lighten this area, and just, you know, anything helps when we're working with darkness. We want that lightness around the under eye. And then I just take a sponge. You can take your fingers also. When you're applying makeup to someone else, it's easier sometimes just to be using sponges. So this is just going to nicely brighten Beth's under eye.
Now, what are some of the things that we women do that do age us when it comes to our makeup?
Well, putting on too much makeup, too much concealer, like seeing seeing like pigmentation spots and saying, oh, I have to cover that, and putting loads on, it only really attracts the eye to where you basically cover it up so much.
I do. I mean, I have a lot of that, you know, sun damage, and so I do have it on my skin, but I've never really covered it up. I'm just like, that's kind of who I am. So yeah.
And you want to see the skin through it. You want to look natural, not totally covered where it's like a mask. So I'm very big into seeing freckles, or if you do have different little spots, that it looks like you. This doesn't look like I'm trying to be completely masked over.
Right.
We're going to go in with the treatment concealer from Ever. This is going to be light in the color light. This is really nice. Ever is a skincare line that has come out with treatment from tinted moisturizers to concealers. So it's nice to have something that's a little bit more on an anti-aging basis, feeding your skin and not just quote unquote makeup.
I like that. So it's skincare and makeup in one.
So with the concealer, I don't have any rules on, oh, it has to be right here. I like to bring it down so it kind of works within the skin, and then when we put the tinted moisturizer over, it all goes to one. So it's not like you have demarcation lines. You're really working with the skin. Any redness, I like to come down to the nose, almost like a little backwards triangle. Just, we really want to highlight this area on the face. So now what we'll do is we'll go in with the foundation.
Okay, so it was the corrector and then the concealer.
Correct.
Okay, so I have to add a step.
Yeah, and that's when you don't always have to, if you see a lot of darkness or a lot of purple or a lot of redness, it's really great to be able to have that option in that inner corner.
Yeah, that's usually where, I see it is in that inner corner, especially like if I haven't gotten enough sleep or,
You've been traveling. So we have, ladies, that I use the La Mer all the time. I really do love this. SPF 20, it's like a serum. It has the miracle broth, so it's really going to be healing to the skin, moisturizing. And I like that it really gives you a true reading of your own skin. But this is a higher price point. So if we want an option, we have the Daylight Tinted Radiance Moisturizer. This has SPF 32. It's chemical free. So this is a nice one. I did try this on Beth. She really did like the La Mer. You liked how it felt.
It's pretty nice.
But we felt that it would be more realistic on an everyday basis to show you the Ever and how it works with the skin.
It's very comparable.
Yeah, very comparable. We did both sides of the face, so we were like, okay, we'll work with the light. What's really nice about this, a lot of my clients have moved over from Laura Mercier because they find that this is going to be a little bit more of a coverage. It has a really wonderful consistency.
Because I use Laura Mercier.
And this is really hydrating, so I like to just work with this on the skin. And what's nice about tinted moisturizers is you're getting coverage, you're getting the SPF, but you're not getting a foundation that's going to settle in the fine lines and wrinkles. You really want to have that. This illuminates the skin, so you have almost like a little bit of a dewier finish to the skin when we put this on. I'm doing it with my hands because I really want to just kind of get this into the skin. You can do it with a brush, a sponge. I find it to be easier to
do it with your fingers.
Yeah, because you can feel the skin on skin and it really nicely warms up and it goes in. So and remember too, you want to bring it down onto your neck so you don't have any kind of demarcation. But you see how this really turns Beth's face into really being nice and refreshed, hydrated, not looking dull.
Right, because I really think that that's something that does come with age, because we do lose the hydration, and I can even tell if I don't drink enough water in the day.
Yeah,
my skin just looks really dull. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah,
because we don't want dull skin.
No, and I'm using everything that's like hydrating and moisturizing on her skin.
Now, do you ever put any concealer on after the foundation or no?
You can. If you find areas that you want to kind of just spot treat with the concealer, you can. And we're not going to use any powder or anything like that. I don't want to add layers of, if you have very oily skin, now that's a different story. You can definitely use a powder to kind of set your foundation. So we're going to go in with just, this is Earth Brown. It's just a nice little brow pencil. Don't want to go too light with our brows and I don't want to go too dark. I just want to enhance them. So I just do wispy little hair strokes. You want definition, but you don't want to go over the top. All right, so we're going to be using a waterproof eyeliner for her lips in organza. I love this, it's creamy, and you can also have a lip brush on the other end of it. Yeah. Lining your lips, you want to be right where your lip at the end. If you don't want to overdraw the lip, you can definitely kind of aid yourself by trying to overdraw the lip, and then it doesn't look very natural. Now, a nice little trick is that you can fill your whole lip in with this if you wanted to and add a gloss.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to always, sometimes I like the definition. I don't need tons of liner on your lips.
You just swipe it on and
yeah, you just go. We're going to be using Franny from Fresh Beauty Studio. This is a really great hydrating high gloss pink. I thought this would be perfect for Beth. She likes pink. Goes nicely with like our jewel tones.
I do. Who else likes pink?
Oh, all of us here.
Oh,
You're in the pink studio.
I am.
So Franny is.
It's my mothership. I'm home.
Yeah, it's very special to our studio since it's named after my French bulldog that's always here in the studio. So there's Franny. And what's nice is that I move around the face a lot, so it's not like I need to see what we've done with the eyes and the lips before I do the blush.
Oh.
So I don't put on too much.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you kind of want to just see where you are with color, and then I add on the blush at the end.
At the end, okay. So then you're not too heavy-handed.
Right, not too heavy, because you want everything to be seamless and fresh and not too overdone. So we're going to use Lovey Dovey. This is a really nice creamy
This is
blush.
cream,
I just
okay.
wanted to cream because we're going to go over the tinted moisturizer, and a little bit goes a long way. You don't want to go crazy. So you want to smile, and we want to lift everything up on the face. So I want to add color to Beth's face. This is going to, you can see the skin through it. So that's really nice. It's going to give you that fresh, natural, flushed, healthy look. And you want to bring everything up. You don't want to just put it on the apples of the cheeks. We want, you know, gravity's coming down and we need to go up. So just a little highlight, and I just love how you just, it's kind of like a sheer veil of this really nice, you know, just kind of like a pop of color for you. Keeping everything in the same color family, but giving you a little bit of definition. And then we'll do a tiny bit of highlighter. Beth likes highlighter, so we want to just do a little bit.
I think it brightens a little bit too.
It does. And I'll show you too a little trick with, if you like highlighter on the face. We'll highlight a little bit with the facelift, appropriately named, right? It's going to be nice and creamy too. You just need a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit goes along. You don't want to overdo it. And you're just going to, on the top of the cheek, you're just going to add the highlight. So this is a eye brightener. So you can use this after you're like, oh, I need a little bit more lightness in my eye area. You can just put it in the areas that you find are still just a little dark, and then work it in with your hand. So this is nice. Maybe you have a little redness around the nose area. You want to lighten that. Nice to do on the Cupid's bow right here.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can just highlight it. And it makes your lips look really nice. And there you go.
I like it. I like that chocolate brown.
Isn't it nice how it just lines your eye very, very nicely?
It's really subtle. It's really nice. I really like it. I'm spraying.
You are.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, sweetie. It was
so
fun.